जय श्री राधे श्री बलभाधीश की जय सब वैष्णवों को जय श्री कृष्णा जय श्री राधे Day 102 Varta 78 continuing from yesterday. There was one Brahmin Pandit who had defeated many other Pandits in debate all over the country. He had about 150 students living with him. After winning a debate, he would go home. Once when he was thus proceeding, he came to a big city. At that time, the king of that city was going out to enjoy himself in a procession. With him were all his court's people. He was making a display of his wealth. Some were sitting in palanquins, some in chariots. Seeing this, the Brahmin Pandit thought to himself, "Fie upon my life! I have had the pleasure of being a very knowledgeable man, but never have enjoyed this kind of happiness." Thinking along these lines, he again thought, "Oh, my fate is rotten. How can I get to enjoy in this way?" He then sent all his students and all the books they had with him to his home. He was then alone. There on the banks of Sri Gangaji there was a temple to Seva. He went there and began to focus on that Lord. He fasted for 4 or 5 days. Then Shivji appeared and asked him, "For what purpose are you fasting here?" The Brahmin said, "I am lacking in the happiness that the king enjoys. I have seen his joy with my own eyes, and I want some for myself. That is why I am here performing austerities." Shivji said, "This kind of kingdom is not part of your destiny. I cannot grant you such a reward. You are, however, very well read. Think hard for yourself, and you will see that kingship is not your destiny. Without such a destiny, it is impossible to have kingdom and kingship. However, I shall give you a jewel. Accept it. It will bring you riches. With that sort of wealth, you will be able to enjoy all sorts of happinesses." The Brahmin Pandit accepted the jewel from Shivji and then left that place. The Brahmin again began to think, "Oh, now I have the wealth, but without youth, how will I be able to enjoy women?" So he decided to perform more austerities and then ask for the boon of youth. "When I have attained a youthful age, I will go home. There I shall enjoy all these comforts." He went off to perform his austerities. He went to the banks of the river Gangaji and arrived at that place where the Brahmin couple had their house. He saw the Brahmin couple sitting there. That place was extremely lovely. Tulsi plants were flowering in a forest of flowers. The place seemed to be most fine. The Brahmin Pandit sat down. After half an hour or so, the Brahmin completed his seva and came outside. He saw the Pandit Brahmin sitting there and latter greeted him politely. The Vaishnav Brahmin also greeted the Pandit and asked him, "Where are you coming from?" He replied, "I have been all over the country before reaching this place." It was then time for the lunchtime offerings to be accepted back as prasad. The Vaishnav Brahmin therefore went inside and completed the seva before re-emerging. The Vaishnav Brahmin invited the other Brahmin to stay there and partake of Sri Thakurji's Mahaprasad. "Please stay here for prasad. Please go to the Sri Gangaji and bathe, meditate and perform your daily rituals and then come back." The Pandit Brahmin did exactly that and came back. When the prasad was ready, the Brahmin served out 4 plates instead of 3 and gave the first one to the cow. 1 plate he gave to the Brahmin Pandit, which he ate. The Brahmin and his wife then also partook of the prasad. The next day was the beginning of the 4 months of the rainy season's regulations, and within this time it is forbidden to wander around. Therefore the Pandit Brahmin asked the Vaishnava Brahmin, "Oh, Vaishnavji, the 4 months regulations have begun. I would like to stay some months here itself." The Vaishnava said, "Please do so, as you wish." From that day onwards, the Vaishnava Brahmin began to collect more alms. When he had collected enough, he would return home. After that, he would bathe and engage himself in his seva. This went on for some time. One day, the Brahmin Pandit looked at the Vaishnava Brahmin's astrological chart. He saw there that the Vaishnava Brahmin was about to face some extreme difficulties. The Brahmin Pandit was very vexed. He had studied astrology a lot and therefore was able to predict that the next day, about 3 to 4 hours after sunrise, the king's men were going to come there, accuse him of theft, take him away and kill him with their spears. This is the fate that the Brahmin Pandit perceived for the Vaishnava Brahmin. He became very worried and began to think, "I shall stay by the side of that Vaishnava, and if he comes I shall fight the king on his behalf, telling him to kill me instead. I shall not let him kill him." The Brahmin Pandit took this vow of protection, but he did not tell the Vaishnava Brahmin anything. When the Vaishnava Brahmin had completed the morning seva, he sat down for a moment's contemplation. He saw a very His eyes closed and he fell asleep. He saw a very frightening dream in which the king's men came to fetch him with an accusation of theft and dragged him in front of the king. The king ordered his men to pierce him with their spears. They killed him. Suddenly he awoke from the dream and he went to tell his wife everything he had seen. She said, "That dream must have relieved you of some of your accumulated stock of karma. Get up now." The Vaishnava Brahmin got up and went to bathe in Sri Gangaji. Bhav Prakash. Why did she tell him to go and bathe? In that dream he was touched by meat-eaters and he saw his own death, and so he accumulated that degree of impurity. His aparas was broken even by the dream. In this path of grace, one's heart feelings are of the most importance. A Vaishnava can be polluted on a mental, emotional, institutional level. A Vaishnava can be polluted on a mental, emotional, intuitional level. The righteous path is very subtle. Therefore, while serving the Lord, one should recall the many pastimes of the gopis by which the heart can be purified and one's divine loving sentiment can be perfected. Emulation of such sentiments is very important here. Part 2 continued. When the Vaishnava Brahmin went to step outside, he saw that the Brahmin Pandit was sitting at the door. He asked, "O Pandit Brahminji, why have you not bathed today?" He replied, "I am in a state of deep doubt, and therefore today will neither bathe nor eat. You two go ahead and partake of prasad." The Vaishnava Brahmin again asked, "O Panditji, today I will relieve you of your doubt. Please do get up and bathe. How great can your doubt be?" The two of them went together to Gangaji to bathe. The Vaishnava asked the other Brahmin, "Now please tell me what doubt has come into your mind. Please tell me clearly." He replied, "O Vaishnavji, today a terrible deathly fate was to come to you. However, the time for that to happen has passed. Now I ask myself, has all my studying been to no avail? I am very learned and I have defeated other pundits all over the country, but now all this learning seems to be useless, so I am thus perplexed." The Vaishnava Brahmin addressed him, "O Panditji, this was all a matter of karma that I needed to suffer. I had completed my seva and was contemplating the Lord when I suddenly fell into a deep sleep. During that sleep, all these events happened to me. When I woke, I told my wife what I had felt and seen, and she told me that this had been my accumulated store of negative fate, and that in this way, Sri Thakurji had wiped it all out. That is why I have come here to bathe." After this, both of them bathed and partook of Mahaprasad. The Pandit Brahmin began to ponder. He was to meet with his death today, but all of that fate was wiped out so simply and so swiftly. How could this be? His Lord must be very powerful. It seems to me that this Vaishnava's path is incomparable. The next day, the Pandit Brahmin asked the Vaishnava Brahmin to initiate him with the Lord's name and to tell him the ways of his path. The Vaishnava Brahmin said, "Our Guru is Sri Gosaiji. He is in Dwarka at this time. In 5 months or so he will return to Gokul. Then you should go to him and become his disciple." The Pandit Brahmin piped up, "That is a long time to wait. If I die before that, I will be in the same condition. Therefore, please let me hear the Lord's name from you." So we pause here in the story of these Pandit and the Vaishnava Brahmin. Aaj ke Anand ki jai. Very significant teachings here. Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Aaj ke Anand ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.